The only sell hashtag that I would actually be a part of is celebrate the SnyderVerse. That's right. See what I did there? Yeah, came up with that myself. I know, it's not that great. Whatever. Zack Snyder. Oh boy. Pretty lengthy article that came out from THR today that a lot of people were talking about because a lot of things were discussed when it came to Zack Snyder and this article right here. And I'm not going to waste too much time. We're going to dive right into it. I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but the link will be provided down below. If you haven't read the article, read it, take it all in, and just realize that this guy is just, he's one of a kind. Look at that stud right there in black and white holding a freaking axe. You gotta love that. And this is that Stone Quarry, too, by the way, in Pasadena. Zack Snyder's next cut, no capes allowed. Just kind of shows you right there that, yes, he is all about his Rebelverse, all about the original universe and universes that he's building from the ground up. No more cape shit, at least for right now. Zack Snyder was going through a Fortnite phase. What started as a bonding activity with one of his sons had spiraled into a solitary obsession with a 57-year-old filmmaker sneaking off any chance he had to play the world-building video game. The guy likes to build worlds. Snyder is not the sort of filmmaker who's feted at film festivals or even the sort whose movies sparkle at the box office on the 4th of July weekend. His operatic, bombastic pictures are blunt instruments, not precision clockwork devices, which is part of what makes them so contentious. But boy, do they have their fans. An army of them who have at times weaponized social media in his defense in ways that have been known to cow even hardened studio executives, specifically the ones at Warner Brothers, who in 2020, 3 years after Justice League tanked at the box office, capitulated the fan demand and gave Snyder an $80 million reshape of his own director's cut. Good job, guys. This is you, every one of you, okay? This is you guys, all of us. I never looked at it as a job. Oh, I'm the architect of DC. I need to create entertainment for DC that sells toys and that is for the masses and fun for everyone. This is why when people were like going, Deborah and Zack should be running DC Studios. He never wanted to be the architect. When people would be in my mentions talking about that, I'm going, no, that's not what they want to do. They want to create. They want to create and create, not be like in the stranglehold of just creating one specific thing. And it's like, stop it. I didn't care about that. I liked Batman. I liked Superman. I wanted to make something cool. You picked the wrong guy if you wanted a product. You hear that, Feige Pants? The two-part Rebel Moon is a massive double production that Netflix says cost $165 million. That's right, $165 million for a two-part film that's going to be, I don't know, 5 times longer than the Marvels, but cost that much less? Wow. Although that figure seems like science fiction when you consider that Snyder's salary alone is said to be in the 8-figure range. It's based on an idea Snyder first had in film school in the 1980s, imagining a space set Magnificent Seven or Seven Samurai. Decades later, when he was in post-production of Man of Steel, he pitched the reworked version of Moon as a Star Wars story to Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy. I thought that Star Wars was in a vulnerable state, so I thought I had a chance, he recalls, of the 2012 meeting. Snyder wanted it to be rated R, of course, R-rated. He wants everything to be R-rated, but it quickly became moot. 6 months later, Disney announced it was purchasing Lucasfilm, and Snyder knew any chance he had was dead. He was bummed, but Deborah was overjoyed. She never wanted this to go to Lucasfilm, Snyder recalls. You think you have a hard time with DC? You think you're mad at them because they won't let you do what you want? What do you think Star Wars is going to be? When it fell apart, she was like, this is the best thing that could have happened to you. She's the queen. It's true. Soon something else will shake Snyder even wider awake. As he's directing the scene, news travels around the set that Warner Brothers has announced new leaders for its DC universe, James Gunn and Peter Safran. Snyder worked with, of course, Gunn on all that and blah, 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 but here's his quote right here. I called him and said I wish all the best for him. Snyder would later say that Gunn moving into his old Fortress of Solitude, I told him I wanted it to work. A lot of people were actually saying, because it was kind of funny because you had, certain scoopers saying this, and then of course fans that just know exactly what's going on in the heads of these filmmakers and whatnot that were saying that, oh yeah, James Gunn was lying. He never talked to Zack. What are you talking about? But then here we go right here. And then, of course, James Gunn had to be like, yeah, I had to do it. It's like, okay, yeah, James, we get it. I mean, a lot of us believed you. But, of course, you did get dogpiled on, so I get that you had to post that on Threads and be like, hey, see, I was right. I wasn't lying, guys. I wasn't lying. Watchmen caught the attention, of course, of Christopher Nolan. Here's a quote right here from Christopher Nolan in an email. I've always believed Watchmen was ahead of its time. The idea of a superhero team, which is so brilliantly subverts, wasn't yet a thing in movies. It would have been fascinating to see it released post-Avengers. Curious to see what that is because, a lot of us, Zack Snyder fans have always said he's ahead of the curve. He's always ahead. Look where the superhero genre is right now. People are more fascinated by like The Boys or Invincible, like these broken down superheroes that are just like bringing them down to ground level and showing more of that as opposed to what's happening, of course, in the Marvel machine. And they're struggling right now. And they're trying to think like, okay, how can we do that too? Most likely. But it just shows you right here. And it would be curious. Like, what if Watchmen was released in like 2015 after the first Avengers? That would be pretty interesting. Let's visit that multiverse. We care deeply about what we were doing, Snyder says, of the back and forth over the Justice League cut. We weren't trying to make an Avengers movie. We weren't. We didn't know how, quite frankly. They brought someone in that did. I've never seen the Whedon cut, but it wasn't the answer. Of course it wasn't, which is so great. Thankfully, that wasn't the answer, and we got the actual cut, which, my God. Deborah says it took a toll right here when it came to their time with DC and Warner's. It was amazing to come up with a new Superman and to bring Wonder Woman to the big screen for the first time. There are so many amazing moments. Then at the end, there were so many heartbreaking moments. Yikes. There was, but I love this picture right here when it comes to Zack and Gal Gadot. In 2019, on her first day on the job as chairwoman and CEO of Warner Brothers, Ann Sarnoff, that's right, Ann with a plan, entered her office to find dozens of bouquets and fruit baskets. Her heart melted at what she assumed was the generosity of Hollywood welcoming the seasoned TV executive to the role of overseeing all Warner's divisions. Then she opened the first card and it said, "Welcome to Warner Brothers, now release the Snyder Cut." At times, the fan revolt went decidedly overboard. Some studio execs like Walter Hamada and Jeff Johns were viciously intimidating. Oh, come on. It's not like they were on social media. Get the fuck out of here. They should have been intimidated. Security was upped on the lot. Wow. But the Snyder Army also had a heart. After the death of Snyder's daughter, they launched a campaign to boost awareness and funds for the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention, raising more than $1 million. That's what it's all about right there. He's kept in touch with some old pals from the DC world. He occasionally talks to Ezra Miller, lending support to the actor he cast as the Flash throughout their recent mental health and legal challenges. They did a great job in the Flash movie, Snyder says. It's very difficult to play against yourself, and I'm glad that's the case. And then, of course, even right here, he talks about Ray Fisher. He's also in touch with Ray Fisher, the unknown he hired to play Cyborg in Justice League, who later accused Whedon of racism on the set. Fisher, who has a part in Rebel Moon as an insurgent leader, says of his director, he's weathered the storm in a way not many people could or get to do. Oh, but then of course this is where some people were like, Zach, you shouldn't have mentioned this or shouldn't have talked about this when it comes to Amber Heard. And it's like, okay, so here we go right here. And he's been dismayed to see Amber Heard suffer online abuse amid controversy over her divorce from Johnny Depp. Quote, I just don't get it. If other people don't like her, I don't know what to say. I would work with her in a second. That's it. That's all that was mentioned right there. And of course, naturally, with everything, every fucking thing, when it comes to now in society, is like you have to take a side. You have to take a side. So people on Johnny Depp's side don't like what he had to say right here. Don't like what he had to say right here. And it's funny, too, because when it came to the whole Amber Heard, Johnny Depp thing, I didn't take any side. I thought, well, they're both shitty. They both suck. They're both toxic, and they should have never hooked up with each other. And it seemed like it was just like something that just, it was hot and heavy at first, and then all of a sudden it fell apart because they both suck. But you can't take that approach. I've actually lost friends and mutuals online, like people that have just unfollowed or blocked or whatever the hell, because I took that stance, because I didn't take the side that they wanted to take. Why are we like this nowadays? I don't get it. When it comes to Zack right here, I don't doubt that he would work with her in a minute, because he's only been professional. He is just like the boss. He's like the guy. Directors are just like the people that are like, okay, we hire these actors and then I'm going to tell them what to do and we're going to work together. We're going to collaborate. It's all professional. Do you think he gives a shit about the whole personal stuff? No, it shouldn't be like that. And I totally understand that. And I get it. I get it. So if anybody's like upset about this, shut up. Shut up. But Snyder says that chapter of his life is now closed. Of course, talking about DC, and it would be difficult to coax him into reopen it. I don't doubt that. If his buddy Gunn called and invited him back to DC, he might consider doing a Dark Knight Returns adaptation, but only a true representation of the graphic novel. He's talked about this. Talked about it on the Vodka stream too. He loves that story so much. I don't think we actually need that. I mean, if that happens, I am all for it. But we already got like part of that in BVS. And I love the fact that he pulled some of that in there and it was just so great. I mean, just even the announcement from Harry Lennox at Comic-Con that just started that whole thing off right there. But I mean, the fact of the matter is like, yeah, he said that's pretty much there. And also right here too, when it comes to this, if Marvel rang, he would do Daredevil, an Elektra movie. He's talked about that many times too. And then of course, when it comes to Star Wars, no, I don't think so. Those guys have a handle on their brand. He's a big Star Wars fan. He's doing all that. And what he's doing right now is creating a different kind of more adult Star Wars, heavy metal Star Wars meeting together and all that. Fantasy, whatever. So when it comes to people in the fandom that are having difficulty handling that little last part of this article right here, we've been trying to tell you. I think most people were just like, hey, when the Snyder Cut came out, that, if there's nothing more that comes out, we're okay with this. Now, am I saying move on? And I've been, of course, put into the whole move on category when it comes to the fandom, but I've always said like, no, you don't have to move on. All you got to do is celebrate what happened, what we accomplished, what is being accomplished when it comes to AFSP. That's what it's all about. It's not about DC movies. It's not about selling to fucking Netflix. Ever since I heard about that whole thing and that hashtag, and when I see it, I just go, you guys aren't thinking logically. And some of those guys, they're not. They're not. And then some people are trying to lead the whole thing, and it's just a whole grift. They don't actually believe in it themselves. I really don't think they actually believed that could actually happen, because it just doesn't make any sense. And not to mention, it's selfish. It's selfish. If you really think like, oh yeah, Zack's just going to drop everything, Warner Brothers is going to sell this version of their most cherished IP to Netflix so he could finish those stories, spend another 3 to 4 years, and Netflix is going to spend billions of dollars to try to finish this whole thing, and all the actors are going to come back. It's just, again, I'm like, just think logically about it, and please, that I beg you. The only sell hashtag that I would actually be a part of is celebrate the SnyderVerse. That's right. You see what I did there? Yeah, came up with that myself. I know, it's not that great. Whatever. But a lot of us have already accepted the fact that we're not going to get a live action finale of what he was coming up with when it came to the Snyderverse, okay? I hope that we can get it in some kind of other form. Graphic novel seems like the best way to go. That's why I've always supported that. I've been supporting that for a while because I know that Zack loves comic books, so why not? Hopefully Jim Lee or, I don't know, somebody over there at DC can do something. We have Batman 89, Superman 78, that's continuing stories from Donner and Burton, so why not do something right there? Why not capitalize on this? And maybe we'll get something when it comes to that. But, you know, when it comes to Zack Snyder, I am just all the movies that he wants to do, like another sequel to 300, more Army, more Rebel, and then there might be a connection with that. I am more excited for that. And with everything that's happening right now with the superhero genre, why would you even want Zack to come back to it, especially with Warner Brothers? Who knows what's going to be happening with all that? I that's why I just go like, guys, it's okay. Support Rebel Moon. Support, if you're truly a Zack Snyder fan, then support what he's doing now, okay? And keep supporting AFSP. Keep donating. When you have a little bit of extra money, whatever it is, $5, $10, $20, $50, whatever, support that. And we're going to be doing something on the Vodka stream this Friday when it comes to just donating to more when it comes to AFSP. So look forward to that. And there you go, guys. That's all I have to really say about all this. Let me know your thoughts about it down below. What do you think about this article? Like I said, read the entire thing. It didn't go through the whole thing, but let me know your thoughts about it down below. Hit that like, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Love you guys. Talk to you later.